Hi everyone, welcome to Yoga Demystified. My name is Deborah Davis. I am, as you may know, President Stan Worden's wife here at Methodist University, and I'm bringing you 10 yoga classes as part of this Soul Reset series this summer. I am currently in Still Point, the meditation room at Chris's house here on the Methodist University campus. We're going to move around since you can't be here right now and do some yoga in some different places around campus. A couple things I want to say before we get started. Number one is that I want you to always put forward your own innate knowledge of your body, okay? So nothing we do or that you do in any yoga class should hurt, okay? It might stretch, it might push, but there should be no shooting pain, no sharp pain, no pinching pain, nothing like that. Everything you do in yoga has modifications to it. So if you can't go out here, then maybe you can go here. So always do your own modifications, feel comfortable with that. Yoga is your own journey, and you shouldn't worry about looking like anyone else. There's such a thing as the optimal pose, the picture postcard, perfect pose, and then there's the rest of us and what we do. So just do yoga the way you do yoga and feel good about that, okay? No feeling bad about anything you can't quite hit. You're moving forward, and that's the way you want to do it. A couple things about yoga else, since I'm assuming you don't know anything about yoga. If you do, stick around. We're going to have a good workout this morning, but just in case you don't, yoga is generally practiced barefoot, okay? So take your shoes off if you've got shoes on. Wear comfortable clothes, anything that's not restrictive. There are no fancy yoga clothes you need, anything like that. If you walk into a yoga class and you're wearing something different, just call yourself a trendsetter and go for it, because it really doesn't matter. Okay. If you do go to a yoga class, and I hope you'll feel comfortable going to one after this series, keep in mind typical etiquette things like silence your phone, don't wear a lot of perfume, probably no glass bottles, but if you're like me and drink a lot of water, you can certainly bring a water bottle. Show up on time, all those kinds of typical things. I will stop the class a variety of times and give you some more background about yoga, information, advantages, qualities, all that kind of stuff. But right now I'd like to get us started moving, okay? So the first thing I'm going to teach you is a yoga pose. Yoga poses are called asanas in Sanskrit. I promise I won't teach you a lot of Sanskrit or much of any. But just if you hear that word, asana, that means pose or posture, but it means a little more than that. It doesn't mean just like striking a pose. It means doing it thoughtfully, okay, with meaning and purpose, okay? So mountain pose, you're basically looking at it, okay? It looks the same as what I'm doing, but intentional, okay? So in mountain pose, your feet are parallel under your hips. Got these pelvic bones right here. They should kind of line up with your big toe or second toe. And then your torso is nice and long. Your shoulders are relaxed. Your neck is long. You want to imagine a string coming out of the top of your head that's lifting your head up and elongating your neck, all right? But not from your chin, just from the back. So nice and tall, nice and long. Arms relaxed at your sides. This is mountain pose. So you've already mastered a yoga pose. All right, this is a great pose. Not only is it energizing and preparing for other more powerful, challenging poses, but it's also a great rest pose. I don't know if it feels like you're resting now, but if you come back to yoga pose or to mountain pose after doing some of these, it'll feel like rest. Okay, so from here we're going to warm up a little bit. Typically in a yoga class, you sort of see an arc of movement. You do some warm-up, you'll do some more strenuous poses, and then you'll do some relaxation at the end. So always make sure that you give the warm-up some time. If you have time before a yoga class, it's great to run around the block a little bit. Bodies function better when they're warmed up. Muscles like it better, okay? So we'll do a little warm-up here first. Let's start with arms up in the air and just reach. And try to just stretch out your shoulders. You can use your other arm to reach your arm way up. Other side. And then clasp your fingers together and turn, and then stretch up. Again, reaching your shoulders wide open. Try to keep your neck relaxed if you can, and feel that stretch from way down in your hips, okay? Way down, keep stretching. And then back to this one, and this one. And then take your arms down and just roll your shoulders to the back a few times. Work out those kinks. We do so much of sitting and slouching at our desks, on our phones. We want to kind of counteract that. Open the shoulders back up wide. And now just lengthen your neck to one side. Just keep this nice and long. When we do neck movements, always think about lengthening the one side, not scrunching the other side, okay? So you're kind of more off in the distance rather than just ear to shoulder. And then lift your head straight back up, and then head over to the other side, lengthening your neck, relaxing your shoulders, nice and tall. And head back to center, and then look over to the side. Don't push it too hard, we're still in the warm-up. Just gaze off into the distance over to the side. Torso long, pelvis nice and straight up and down, and breathe. And back to center, and the other direction. And back to center. Let's do one more warm-up before we start with the lower body, and that is we're going to bring the shoulders way in with palms up, and then way out. I said palms up when I meant palms down. Palms are up now, with chest and shoulders wide open. And then curl in. Well, I guess palms are up both times, actually. And then back around, kind of like you're opening doorknobs down there. Over and back around. And now take a minute, just shake your shoulders back down from that. See if you can start feeling that your upper body is starting to come alive and get energized. I mentioned before your breath. Yoga is a lot about breathing. So let's just take a moment before we go to the lower body and think about our breath. Breath is a great way to calm yourself, to center yourself, to bring your awareness into your body. So yoga often coordinates breath, like we inhale up and exhale down. That's pretty typical, okay? So what you want to do is get used to nice deep breaths, okay? So first I'd like you to breathe into your belly. Just try to expand your belly here. This can be easier lying down, and we'll do it there too. But feel your belly expand. And then your diaphragm here. Try to breathe into your hands right here. And now breathe into your chest. You can kind of tell this is where we breathe when we get agitated. So part of calming is moving the breath back down lower. All right, so try now a nice deep breath, filling all three sections. So belly, diaphragm, chest, and exhale all the way back out. Do that again, and as you're doing it, try to bring your focus very clearly onto your breath. Once more. And when you enter a yoga class or a yoga practice time, use that breath to help you begin to set aside everything outside, okay? So you want to forget about your to-do list, what's next on the agenda, all that kind of stuff. And use your breath to just get yourself inside your body, inside the room, and ready to just focus. So again. Good. All right, let's do a little lower body warm-up. We're going to do runner pose. Okay, so that's kind of what you might expect the runner out of the gate. Okay, So turn to your side, and if you're on a yoga mat, great. At home, I just practice on a rug, whatever you feel comfortable with. If you are going to a yoga class, often they have mats there. You can check the website, you can ask. At this time of health safety issues, you might want to think about bringing your own mat. You can get pretty cheap ones pretty easily. Okay? All right, so runner. All right. I'm not going to specify a leg just because you can mirror me, you can do the opposite, whatever you want to do. But what you're going to want to do is head toward the front of your mat and then put your hands down on the floor and step back. Okay, so here you can see I look just like a runner right out of the gate, okay? And what I'm doing is, just like our shoulders get bowed in from scrunching over, our hips do the same thing, our pelvic muscles, because we are always sitting on our couch, sitting in the office chair. So here we're stretching out these quads, stretching out these psoas muscles, trying to get some energy going in there. Then a variation on the runner is if you bring your knee down and then turn your foot under, and then we're going to come up to more of a standing on your knee, okay? So that's where we want to be here. It's a little more challenging to balance, so if you don't want to take your hands off the floor, feel free not to. But this is where we want to be, and you just want to gaze out and always keep breathing. And then go back to that angle that stretches you a little bit more, back to the ground. And then from here, with the stretch included, see if you can come up. If you want to come back to your knee, you can, but if you can stay back down too, all right? And then we're going to bring arms up, and this is more of a devotional runner, we'll call it. Keep breathing. Here you want your shoulders down and relaxed, and your gaze off in the distance. Your hips forward, and bring it down. And then we'll come back up, bring your foot back in, and back up to standing. How is that? Not too terrible? Before you forget which leg you put back, let's put the other leg back, okay? So same thing, down to the ground and step back. First, stretching with a straight leg in the back, if you can manage that. You'll see that rather than hands flat on the floor, I'm kind of up on my knuckles. I do that a lot because I have arthritis in my hands. That's just one of a million modifications you can do when you're doing yoga poses. So feel free to mess around like that. There's no right and wrong. And then take your back knee down. Put your base of your foot up to the sky and bring yourself back up to this standing on your knee. Face forward, hands on knee. Try to have this calf straight up and down here. Shoulders relaxed. Just breathing, feeling where that stretches you. Feeling where it shakes you a little bit. And then back to the more strenuous stretch that's opening up your pelvis. And then see if you can bring your arms up toward the sky. And back down. And bring your feet back together. And keeping your knees bent, roll yourself back up. And here we are back in mountain pose, which you already know. Take a moment just to feel what mountain pose feels like now, that you've got some energy going in your lower body as well. Body is waking up. All right, next up is half moon pose, okay? And there's another half moon pose that's a really strenuous balance pose, so we won't get into that right now. This is a standing half moon, okay? So feet are, you can bring them a little closer together if you're more comfortable with that, but you still want your feet parallel under your hip bones here. And We'll bring our arms up overhead, palms together, but keep your shoulders down and relaxed. And then we're going to go half moon, crescent, over to one side. Okay, as I mentioned before, when you're doing side stretches, things like this, be sure you're thinking about lengthening one side rather than pushing down on the other side, okay? So we're not trying to get way over here, we're more getting up off in the distance, okay? You want your arms near your ears, and you want all of this to kind of take place in one flat plane, all right? So we're not twisting, we're not falling back, just straight over. And come back to center, relax your shoulders, and head over to the other side. Shoulders relaxed. Feel that stretch in your hip along your side, your rib cage open wide. And back up to center. Harder than it looks, isn't it? Yes. All right, we're going to do a crescent pose now to the back, a half moon to the back, okay? And this time I want to again specifically say that what we're doing is we're opening the front, we're not scrunching the back. So don't try to lean back too far, just back far enough to open your chest nice and wide. And there we go. And look up. And back to center. And arms down. Shake your shoulders out a little bit. And take a moment to breathe and feel how that impacted your body. Now you'll find in yoga that when you do something one way, you want to do it the other way. Okay, just like we went this way, then we went this way. Well, we went this way, so now we're going to want to go this way. Okay, so we're going to do a forward fold. Forward fold is one you're going to do constantly in yoga classes. It's a transition pose, it's a popular pose, it's around with us all the time. Okay, so for forward fold, I'll do it front first and then we can try it to the sides, make sure you can see what I'm doing. But for forward fold, it's kind of what you can imagine. You're going to be down towards your legs. And this is a good one to really think about modification. Okay, you don't need to look like me. Your knees can be bent. You can go not very far. Whatever works for you works for everybody. So we'll take arms up to the sky, but then we'll bring them back out to horizontal and kind of swan dive forward. And you see sort of bowing, leading you with your chest and heading over and then bringing your arms down. And then you're just folded over. That's all you're doing. You're hanging here, okay? And as you can feel, that's going to stretch your hamstrings up the back of your legs. It's going to stretch out your back, your spine. It's going to let your shoulders hang open. It's going to lengthen your neck. And then when you're ready to come out of forward fold, you want to bend your knees a little bit if they aren't already bent. And you kind of want to curl your hands back up your legs so that you maintain that curve all the way up. And imagine your vertebrae on the back just kind of stacking one on top of the other, bringing your shoulders up last and then neck and then your head. It's time for the headband. Okay, so that's a forward fold. So let's do that one more time. We'll do it sideways. I'll do it sideways this time so you can be sure to see what I'm doing. All right? So, mountain poses to start. Feet parallel under your hip bones here. Shoulders relaxed. And then let's try to incorporate the inhale. So inhale up and then exhale down. And as I said, if your knees are bent, that's fine. If you're not going very far, that's fine. If you're super flexible, you're welcome to try to pull yourself down a little further using your legs for pressure. If you don't quite know what to do with your arms, you can cross them here. But mostly you just want to hang. Hang and feel the stretch. And then let's come out of that again. Again,
Slight bend to your knee if it's not already there, and then just slowly fold yourself back up.
And here we are back in mountain pose. Home base, you can call it, okay? All right. Next up, we're going to spread the legs apart. We have a lot of wide-legged poses in yoga, and it may be counterintuitive, but a lot of times the wider you put your legs, the easier it is. So if you think this is hard, it'll be easier if I do this, you're probably wrong. It'll probably be easier if you do that, okay? But we're looking at something like 3-4 feet apart, okay, wherever you're comfortable with. Depends a lot on the length of your legs, your torso, all that kind of stuff. So just get yourself comfortable here, okay? Or as comfortable as you can. So we just did a forward fold, okay? So the first thing we're going to do here is a wide-legged forward fold. Pretty self-explanatory, okay? So just for this one, again, you want that kind of bowing forward effort. But this one, you can kind of just run your hands down your legs as you bow forward, okay? So heading down. And then again, as far as you go is as far as you go and is perfectly fine. And once again, you just want to relax here. And once again, if you want to fold your arms, you can. Brings a little more weight to your upper body and might lengthen the stretch. You can keep your knees bent. You can put your hands on the floor, on your legs, wherever they happen to be. And then as we did with the regular forward fold, roll yourself up, bringing your head up last, and back up to forward, okay? How's that going? Legs feel okay? All right. So we're going to do the same thing again, but we're going to incorporate a twist, okay? The spine can move a lot of different ways. We've done some front, back, side, side. It can also twist, okay? So this time we're going to go down and then we're going to twist. If you want to watch and see what I'm doing, you're welcome to, but it's pretty easy to figure out. So we're going to forward fold with the wide legs first. And then we're going to bring a hand to the center, just a little bit out from your body. And then we're going to windmill the other hand up to the sky. So you've got a big open stretch. And we're going to kind of look up toward that hand that's up. All right, so give that a try. And again, don't over twist your neck. As you're twisting your spine, just let your neck be a natural progression of that, not a sudden like 90-degree angle or anything like that. And then just breathe here. Always remember to breathe. And when you're ready, take one more inhale and then exhale that arm back down and then swap out hands and inhale the other one up to the sky. Chest wide open, shoulders relaxed, head tilted up but neck not strained. Reach up to the sky, reach that hand way up. You feel the stretch and don't forget to breathe. When you've had enough, take another inhale and then exhale back down. And then we're going to roll out of that forward fold again. And I did say when you're ready, you know where mountain pose is. You can always come back there if you feel like I'm in a pose a little bit longer than you feel comfortable being in a pose, okay? Anytime you shorten it, not a problem, okay? One more pose while we've got our legs right out. You'll like this one. It's an easy one. This is called a 5-point star. You can probably already picture what it is. Arms out to your side. We're just standing. Your feet are forward, parallel. Arms out. And just hold that and breathe. And see if you can stretch those arms further away from each other. Shoulders relaxed though. Energy sending out from your fingertips. Make sure your pelvis is kind of tucked, your hips are tucked under, chest is nice and open. Keep breathing. See if you can figure out what I mean by relaxed and energized. And let's come down. So you can probably feel some of these poses. They take some work in your arms just to hold it out there like that. That sort of stretching energy that goes out. Use that. Okay. All right. Now we have a pose that you may not like. Not particularly comfortable, but very effective. All right. One last time, I promise. Legs out. Okay. And this time we're going to turn our feet out. And when I say turn your feet out, I really mean turn your hips out, okay? As I said, there's no real wrong way to do poses except when it's bad for your body alignment, okay? Obviously, you don't want to like torque your knee in a direction it's not supposed to go, okay? So if it's feet out, then it's out from the hips, okay? You don't want to turn your feet out without turning your knee, your hips, okay? So knee should always be over foot, all right? Hip should always be going with knee. Okay, so if we're turning out the whole thing. Okay, so back out here where you were, and then turn out. And then we're going to do a standing squat. Okay, again, not pretty, not comfortable, but very effective. All right, so what you want to do is watch those knees, bring them straight out over those feet. Okay, as much as you can. If you need to turn your feet in a little bit to get that angle right, you can do that. Okay, so this is it. Feels terrible, doesn't it? Yeah, it's not fun. What you can do too, if you want to, is kind of come down and use your forearms to press those knees out a little bit more and stretch your muscles through your pelvis a little bit more through your hips. And enough. Okay, I have one more pose that's going to be a little bit of a torture. But it's all the time in yoga classes these days, super popular, so you might as well learn to love it, and it is very effective. So it's called the chair pose, and you can probably even start to visualize what it's going to look like. You are the chair, or you are sitting on a chair that isn't there, basically, either way you want to call it, okay? But let's give it a try. You don't have to hold it very long. Again, this is a good example. Go down and come right back up if you want to, either way. So we've got our feet parallel to the floor. I'll do it this way, and then I'll turn sideways so you can see that direction too. And then what we're going to do is we're going to sit back, okay? And you want to do this with your arms forward to counterbalance, okay? So here we are, and sit back. Having fun? Yeah. All right, come back up. All right, you probably could tell, you could feel that in your knees, quads, legs. Yeah, it's core work, okay, all of the above, but great for you, okay? So a couple things to remember. As always, you want your shoulders relaxed. You want your torso nice and straight and tall, neck long, all of the above. Okay, and you can, again, do it your way. If your way is like this, that's fine. If you're further down, that's fine. The optimal pose is going to have your arms kind of up along your ears. That's pretty tough to do if you go down very far. So you can modify that, straight out, whatever works. Okay, but are we ready? Feet lined up, chair pose. And the key, if you can, is just to keep breathing. It's not going to be deep breaths, but don't stop breathing, okay? Relax the back of your neck. Keep your shoulders relaxed, arms strong, legs holding you, and come back up. All right, how is that? Chair pose. There are a couple that are kind of my nemesis, and that's one of them, but you do learn to love it. All right, shake out the chair pose a little bit. Get your body back aligned, because next up we're going to do a balance pose. Okay, balance poses turn up in yoga a lot. Let me get a drink of water. Balance poses are part of the whole experience of learning to calm your body, center your body, control your body, discipline your body, okay? So with a balance pose, the key is to balance internally before you try to lift a leg off the floor, foot off the floor, okay? So you want to start to feel that sense of being centered and grounded before you just take off a leg and then you're falling off to the side, okay? So what you're going to do with tree pose is you're going to get one foot grounded into the ground, okay, and begin to mess around with taking the other one off, okay? So just kind of see what it feels like to get on one foot, all right? And then what you're going to do is you're going to find a home for this other foot to keep it off the ground, okay? And for today, you can try just up to here, all right? Or if you want to go higher, you can bring it up to here. What you don't want to do, I don't have balance today apparently. You don't want to put it on your knee because that can be rough on your knee, okay? So you just want to get yourself nice, tall. Often it helps to find a point on the floor, a point up in the wall, something like that where you can gaze to. I don't recommend looking at other people who are falling down, so if I start to fall, don't be watching me, okay? So you just want to find your center and lift, and then if you want to just wrap that foot, anything like that for now. And then with the arms, you can bring them overhead. You can bring them in front of you, whatever kind of tree you want to be. If you start to fall, recenter yourself, gather your calm, and just do it again. What you want to do is you want to get to the point where you do it on your terms, okay? So it's not time to come down because your body says get down. It's time to come down because you've decided, I'm going to set my foot down now, okay? So let's try it on the other side. So get that one foot nice and grounded. Start to lift the other one off. Start to feel your height, your center, relaxed. And then find a home for that other foot. If you want, it can just be sort of a tripod here, or you can lift it higher. And then find a home for your arms. And when you're ready, come on down. Okay, first foray into balance. Not a great day for me. We have good balance days and bad balance days. Sometimes I can hold that for hours. Other days, it's not happening. So that's how balance works. Okay, now we're going to take to the floor. All right. So first pose, we'll start prone on the floor, belly down. Okay. And we're going to start with Sphinx pose. You can kind of imagine what that looks like. This is going to be for your working your back muscles. This is another back bend, okay? So tops of the feet are on the floor. Elbows are straight under your shoulders. Palms are flat. Shoulders are down. Neck is long. And you're breathing. That is Sphinx. Feel how that works, your back muscles. You're building strength in your back. And come down from Sphinx. Rest. Arms down to your sides. Take a moment. And we're going to move into Cobra pose, which works a similar set of muscles, okay? But with Cobra, instead of elbows under your shoulders, we're putting hands under your shoulders, okay? This one's a little more challenging than Sphinx. And you want your chin or forehead forward on the floor. And then we're going to begin to come up, but you want to roll your spine up one vertebrae at a time, okay? So imagine the top of your neck, and you're going to just start working down from there. And the first set of vertebrae, your neck and some of your thoracic vertebrae, you want to not use your hands, okay? So see if you can come up a distance without using your hands at all, okay? You can feel the back muscles you're employing there. And then when you get up about this high, start pushing down and a little bit forward to roll up more vertebrae, okay? And you're looking up and off in the distance, and you're breathing, and your shoulders are relaxed. And then roll back down the same way, starting with the lowest and ending with the top. And then to counterbalance those back bends, we want to bend forward. So we're going to move back into child pose. Child pose is another great rest pose. And think about where you're comfortable here. You can separate your knees a little bit. You can separate your legs. But basically, you get to lie down here. And that should feel very relaxing on your back after the ones we just did. You can keep your hands to the front, or you can take the stretch even or the relaxation further by putting your hands palms up back by your feet. And just breathe here. See if you can relax into the pose. You shouldn't be using any muscles if you can avoid it. It should just be complete relaxation. All right, back up, and we're going to lie on the back now, okay? So all of these poses, we'll learn somewhere around 40 or 50 poses while we're doing this 10 class session. And we'll try to circle back around to all of these 2 or 3 times. So you'll be seeing child and cobra and all these again in a few days, okay? Or within a day or 2. All right, so here we are on our backs. This is the best part of yoga, okay? Most yoga classes do end on your back. So you get to be comfortable. First we'll get out just a few last kinks. So bring your knees up to your chest. Roll around a little bit. Just kind of get comfortable, just beginning to let the floor take over and do all the work for you. And put your feet back down on the floor with knees bent, arms straight out to the side and horizontal. And then let your knees fall to one side. So that kind of twists your spine there. And then look in the opposite direction. But again, not too harshly. We're in relaxation mode. Remember I told you about the arc of the class. Warm up, strenuous poses, and then relax. So we're relaxing now. So don't feel like you have to do anything that takes energy. We're just kind of stretching things back out and winding down. And then knees back up, feet flat, and twist the other direction. Keep breathing, keep relaxing into the floor. And come back to center. And next up is Shavasana. It's one of the few words that even if you have an English-speaking class, which most are, people will use that word because the Sanskrit translation is corpse, and that's not very pretty. So we say Shavasana, okay? And Shavasana is our total rest pose at the end of a class. So you straighten your legs, you relax your shoulders, and you breathe. Try to lengthen your neck a little bit, separate your head from your shoulders, relax your shoulders down, arms to your sides, palms up, let your legs drop open. And then what you want to do is just let the floor take over all the work for you, okay? So feel your head just sinking down into the floor. Relax all of your facial features. Relax your eyes, your mouth, your jaw. Relax your neck. Relax your back and shoulders into the floor. Just let them sink down, settle in. Relax your arms into the floor. Feel your forearms, your hands. Just feel them melting into the floor. Feel your hips just sink into the floor. Let the weight of them sink in. Feel the weight of your legs on the floor, completely relaxed. Your calves. Feel your heels of your feet just relaxing into the floor, heavy. And now return to the deep breathing we were doing before. Just breathing in through your belly, nice and slow, filling your lungs completely, and then breathing them way back out. Just focus on your breath and let yourself sink into the floor. Stay there a little longer and breathe. Completely relaxed. If your mind starts to wander and you start to think about other things, just try to bring it back and focus on your breath. And when you're ready in your own time, bring your feet back down to the floor with your knees bent and roll yourself onto your side. And then slowly come up to a sitting position. Try to bring your head up last. And we'll call it a day. Thanks for coming. I hope I see you tomorrow.